Voltron Network.
What's good, guys? Welcome back to Talking at the Movies. I'm Eddie Antonio.
And I'm Mo.
What's happening, Mo?
Oh, it's Sunday evening. I've literally been doing housework and stuff all day. I'll probably just deserve to go to sleep now for a bit. But I'm here recording. Not a lot this week. I think we're heading for Armageddon again this coming week with more restrictions coming in. So each week is just like every other week at the moment.
Doesn't stop. Doesn't fucking stop, man.
No. And what I realised was, because we lost last week's episodes, and because I haven't watched anything new, I can repeat the new things I'd watched from last time because no one heard me.
As long as they're legitimately new. We got to really be more disciplined now because we dwell way too much on old shit.
But the old stuff is the best stuff, because if you're watching it for the first time, it's new, right?
Yeah, I guess. But that's the thing. We talk about things that not only have we seen before, but it's neither new either, which is bad. It can't be interesting. People can't want to see that.
They may not have seen it before. They may, that sounds like a good show. I'll watch that. Remember somebody even wrote to us about Community. We'd seen Community, and they wrote to us about it. See, there you go. There you go. You're just trying to make the episodes like 10 minutes long.
Yes, it's easier.
Right. Did you get round to watching the Comey Rule?
I did.
Oh, you did. Look, there. So now we can talk about it. Like neither of us have seen it. We can talk about it like we didn't already talk about it.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I was actually following American politics very closely at that point in time. So I was pretty familiar with a lot of the people. There were some like behind the scenes FBI people that I don't think it was that important to be that familiar with, but the main names I was familiar with. So it was interesting to see that other side of things, of how they were dealing with it, and they really were fucked either way. There was nothing they could do.
That was really interesting, wasn't it? They were literally while they were playing things out, like, if we do it before the election, we sway it. If we do it after the election, we're complicit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was really good. But obviously, the star of that show is the guy who played Trump.
Dude. Oh, should bring up his name, man. Deserves a shout out.
That was one incredible performance.
Scary. If that truly is in conversation what Trump is like, and we've all, there's books and we've all heard his interviews and heard people talk about him. But if that's how he is in intimate interviews, that is terrifying.
Oh,
that is
absolutely
terrifying. Is. That someone of that mentality. I don't want to get political here. We're purely we exist in the clouds, people. Yeah. We're beyond. We're above it all. But
Brendan Gleeson is the chap you're referring to, who gave a Emmy-worthy performance.
Did he? Was he? This came out after the Emmys, didn't it? So it wasn't.
No, but there's always if it's after the Emmys, then it'll be for the next Emmys, right? It's even the little lip movements and the ticks and it was just spot on.
They're really just sucking up the spits.
Yeah, and you can almost imagine sitting in those rooms. Oh. It was almost like how sometimes you talk to people who are a lot more senior than you, and you find it difficult to tell them something. You could feel that energy.
Yeah, when just simple things like we can't be talking. As head of the FBI, I cannot be talking to the president because I'm supposed to be impartial.
Yeah, but how do you you've got to tell the president of the United States we are investigating somebody who's basically saying you've done or you had some prostitutes and you did a golden shower in a bed.
Yeah, that I do like the fact that it explained it, because I've always heard about this whole golden shower possibility that the Russians have this on him. Yeah. But it was always, whenever people mentioned it, it was always in the context that it was on him, hookers pissing on him. Yeah. But it was just them pissing on the bed. That's what it was. So it barely even counts as.
And they peed on the bed because the Obamas had slept there.
Yeah.
Crazy. But I think it was actually. Did you see what I mean? Like the first 20 odd minutes was very difficult to follow because so many people got introduced. But once it got going,
I said, because I was following at that time. I wasn't that lost.
Oh yeah, I mean all the names seem familiar, but it's so difficult to remember everyone.
And
I loved the little bits where sometimes Comey would be speaking to Trump, and you'd see one of the guys who work for Trump in the background who would be listening to the conversation, and you'd see their face just go.
That I don't know how those sort of people live with themselves. These people know what they're, because they try and they're yes men to the ultimate degree where they can't criticize. They know what they're asking people to do is wrong, but they're still playing the game because they want to be in that position. They want that power. They want that influence. And it's like,
it's the money, mate. It's money, money, money.
It's like people don't have that thing of being on the right side of history. Eventually, people are going to look back at this time, and you're going to be the villain.
But you're going to be long dead. They don't remember. As long as if you've got the money,
alive. Your grandkids are going to be the ones that are going to have to deal with that stigma.
Theyese guys don't care. Like basically rolling back environmental stuff. No, they literally don't. Like rich people don't care about the problems of other people. They don't really care if people like them or not, as long as they make money.
You know what's scary? All the nuclear agreements are coming up now. You know, the whole thing of how countries agree that they're not going to produce nuclear weapons and all of this shit. Yeah. All of those deals are ending in the next like 2 or 3 years. And a lot of countries don't look like they're going to renew those deals. So it's horrible. Between this and another thing I'm going to mention, the world is just fucked, man. We got to get on a ship and get out of here, Mo.
There's nowhere to go.
I don't care if it's a colony on the moon, man. We got to get the fuck out of here.
You saw what happened to Raised by Wolves when they left the planet and went somewhere else.
Not so bad. I can live on radioactive potatoes. I could do it.
I know you just said no old stuff, but I need to give a quick shout out to. Obviously, I've been. When we spoke last week, I'd watched a whole season of that 70s show. I've watched a whole nother season in a week. That show, it's for right now. You can just close the curtains, turn off the lights, and just forget about everything. I need to give it Kurtwood Smith, the guy who plays the dad.
Yeah.
Who's a bad guy from RoboCop, right? Just the way he talks to his kids, you dumbass.
That's the way I always felt I would talk to my kids. Just put them down.
You got a smart mouth, boy. You're a dumbass.
It's all parents funny. You can't have nowadays because they'll be all over social media. Their kids get taken away. It's just so
funny as hell. Star Trek Lower Decks season final. Watch it, Eddie. This was absolutely phenomenal. They had in the last 3 episodes, they have now found their voice, and it was just top tier. Watch it.
You want me to watch this whole season just for 3 episodes of? Okay.
Well, no, just watch the last couple of episodes because it's all standalone, right? They don't really connect to each other.
Okay. Any word yet on next season?
Well, it's been renewed, so they were working on it like already from last year. So there is another little bit of news, but we'll do that in the news bit. And that's pretty much what I've been watching, other than The Boys.
You done with Comey?
Oh well, we just went through 2 other things there.
Yeah, I just want to say, like
you said. I was gonna say you were the one who was saying you don't want to dwell on things. You want to like make the show short.
Okay, true. But what do you give it then? Just
Comey. I would say everybody should watch this, regardless of what your political affiliation. I thought it was a fascinating look at somebody who was in a difficult position, and just for that, I would give it a 4. It's a no-win situation, no matter what you did.
Yeah. Even that bit where it's like his wife and his kids are like asking him to just turn a blind eye to the Hillary emails. Like,
imagine that. The people that you love the most in life, the people you have to go home to.
Because all these kids are girls. 4 girls. It's like, how can I do that?
And when he goes out, you know, like a woman who just comes up to him in the restaurant and just goes, "Fuck you." Imagine having that for like years to come.
Wow.
And then and then afterwards, the other side starts hating you because you wouldn't do enough to exonerate the president. It just guy.
Oh, that was mad. The conversations where he's like, "Make it go away." It's like, I can't literally do that, but he can't come out and say that straight to Trump. It's like, "Oh my God, I've been loyal to you."
Well, I mean, you say straight. I don't think you could say that. I think for any president, that would probably be very difficult to say. Because if the president of the US called you up and says, "I want you to drop this,"
but no one else would do that, though. Only Trump.
I would think other presidents probably have, right? It's just others have never been as blatant. Yeah, I'm sure stuff like that happens all the time.
Whew. Yeah, watch that shit. That's crazy. Do you know what the impact is of that? people been talking about? I haven't really been looking up what the.
I actually haven't seen much about that. I did go on IMDb just to look at some of the reviews, because that's the place where things get review bombed, right? And actually, the reviews were actually pretty positive.
See, the problem is shows like this need to be on Netflix to be talked about and to be heard.
Yeah, well, this is it. Yeah, it's
on these other platforms, they just get lost. And that's
it's on Showtime, so it's still quite a big platform.
Yeah,
but obviously, it's a
it has
US only thing.
And it has its age bracket. You know, we want to kind of get into that young adult. The people who really should be seeing this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah, good for me. I like it. I enjoyed it a lot. What else? Anything else?
That's pretty much the few things. I honestly, it's like the 70s show. Whenever I've had like 20 minutes, half an hour, or even longer, I will just sit and watch like 2-3 episodes of that.
So I have to open up my browser because I've forgotten the name of the thing that I just watched. It's a documentary on.
You've just watched it and you've forgotten it already.
Yeah, I don't look at titles that much.
Oh, is this the American Neighbor or something? Is that the one?
No.
Is that the one that everyone's talking about?
It's not. Damn, you really know how fucking slow it is when a browser won't even open in a timely manner. What this laptop?
Are you still waiting for? Oh yeah, that's you need a replacement now or a rebuild.
And it's still not opening. It's just a white screen. Oh, here we go. I literally took almost 60 seconds. That is criminal. Come on, must have been something else that you could fill time with that you watched.
Oh, I you know what? I'll go into the Star Trek Lower Decks into more detail, right? So while you're waiting for that, I will say they had some cameos from some older legacy characters. There was some hype stuff. They even played the Next Generation theme tune at one point. We got to see some ships that they've only ever spoken about. You've never actually physically seen them. I think you would really enjoy this one. Mariner's character was completely toned down. It was a proper season end quality type show.
Okie dokie. Shit, I'll go look for this. I'm just gonna have to cut out this dead space. Scroll through this list.
What was the documentary about?
It's about the influence of social media on the modern population and just all this shit with Netflix and not Netflix, with Facebook and Twitter and
so is this the one that's on Netflix?
Yeah, but
I think I know the one.
Because I've just watched it, it's decided to just completely throw it out of any of the lists and just not show it to me again. Like what? There should be a little thing of what you've watched in the past. Oh, here we go. I got it. Okay.
The Social Dilemma?
Okay. Yeah. Got it.
I haven't even seen it.
Like nothing's happened. Yeah. No. Sorry, guys. What also was The Social Dilemma on Netflix. Between this and what we were talking about with the Comey rule, the world's done, Mo.
I haven't seen this, but I've been following the Facebook stuff quite closely, and it is quite genuinely one of the most scariest things that people don't seem to realize.
It's done. It's over. The world. We can't fix it. The genie's out the bottle. Nothing can be fixed from this point.
This is again a rich guy who's basically going around saying, but I don't want to censor people's speech because it should be all about freedom of speech. And you're kind of like, no, you fuckwit. You're just making loads of money off of this.
Well, that's just one example, Zuckerberg. It gets into all of it, and they're all the same. Google.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Twitter.
But it's so something actually came out last week about the last election, right? So there's all the info that Facebook has been collecting. Now that they handed over to that Analytica company. I can't remember what their name was. Essentially, what they used, they're so clever. They didn't use it to target people to vote. They used it on black people in the US, right, to basically convince them not to vote. Because normally they go black people will vote for Democrats, right? Mm-hmm. They basically flooded their feeds with things like Hillary's a devil worshipper, she's a pedophile. So their thing was not to get them to change their vote. It was just don't vote for them.
This is what's even scarier. You know, where people talk about AI being what will end us as a human race. Yeah. It's already happening because that's what's doing all of this. It's not like Facebook or any of these companies are consciously typing things to mislead you. What it is they've, because this whole documentary, Social Dilemma, it's the talking heads that are, discussing all of this stuff. They're people who, not just conspiracy nuts, they're people who worked for all of these companies, former employees. And in many cases, they're the people who came up with a lot of these algorithms that are controlling our lives. And even they're like, I didn't intend this. It's something that I didn't know, that something I would create that would just make people see videos they enjoyed would be twisted this way in the algorithm, because once it starts to think for itself, and all it wants to do is bring you in any way it can. So it's just trying to find little things that you tap on. It even knows how long you look at images. Like, they're just talking about all the little finite details that it goes into knowing who you are and figuring out the three-dimensional aspect of your life and how to control
it. Absolutely everything. I saw a guy on Reddit goes, I purposely signed up for a Facebook account and give it shit information.
But what was scary is they actually admitted that it's at a point now where even the people in the companies that control this stuff don't truly understand how it's doing what it does. All they do is give it its parameters. We need you to get people in, and then it just, the algorithms, the AI just does it. Don't really understand how it's coming up with the things that it comes up with. So the machines have already taken over and fucking up our lives. And
but it's not. But did they go into, on top of that? Did they then go on to all these groups that manipulate that data the algorithm is making?
Yeah, they do. Yeah. And it's like a snake that's eating its own tail, because you've got those groups manipulating people, but those people are only seeing the people who make those groups are only seeing stuff that's fed to them. So it's all just feeding itself, and it's out of control now.
But I think you've also got, on top of that, you've now got, not only have you got this social dilemma, but you've now also got people who are so unable to critically think that when you actually tell them, that thing that you're seeing isn't real or it's been twisted, it's like, no.
They get into that as well. And how that, depending on where you are, not just in the world, but even in America, the whatever state, the results that you get back, the news feed, the search terms, you just put in something like Hillary is, and the result you'll get that will autofill in LA is different than what it will be in Utah or Texas. It's just it's fucked up. It's so, like, there's no truth. It doesn't care about presenting you truth. It just presents what you want.
So that we have far more stricter privacy laws in Europe than we do in the US. So have you basically seen last week Facebook said, unless you ease up on these privacy laws, we're probably going to have to close shop and leave Europe.
Good.
I know that's a threat. I know they will never do that, but you hear that and you kind of think, is that actually a threat? Do it.
That would be good. Like, what's good about the documentary is that not only do they have the talking head stuff of the actual individuals, but it balances out with dramatized scenarios of people going through. It shows like it kind of gives a visualization of what the computer's doing to manipulate people, and you got people acting out these scenarios of being one way and then political views being swayed. So that's really good. And the documentary is split in two halves. The first half is about how it's effing up the kids, how depression and suicide and just their mental health is just going down the toilet. From anyone who's born in the 90s till now, it's just no chance. They're fucked because they've grown up with this stuff. It's their norm, and now they can't leave.
You kind of think, though, no real empire stays around forever, right? Eventually they start to crumble. But you kind of just think, how does that happen to Facebook?
It's true, man. But it's crazy because it's just like, it's not just America, it's the world. This stuff. And they go into scenarios of how it's influenced various coups and riots and murders and all this stuff around the world. And it's just like, we're done.
Did they talk at all about the media itself? So did they talk about, like, say, Rupert Murdoch, who's is so globally influential in someone like this misinformation?
They don't get into specifically him, but they do get into the political ramifications of everything. Worth a good look. They should show this in the schools, man, because I think a lot of kids need to, because they don't really understand what's being done to them and how they're being twisted. And
it came out at the beginning of the year, so I have been meaning to watch it. So I actually might take some time shortly to watch it, but the thing is, I know most of this from reading other stuff, so just to watch it all probably just be really depressing.
That's the thing. It's stuff that we've all heard, but it's like the Comey thing, seeing it just all in that one concentrated hit, just kind of Fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just got to get your kids off. Don't give your 11-year-old phones, man, and whatever the fuck.
But that's like how it is all nowadays, right?
But at least you got to try and condition them to have at least a certain amount of time where they can only be on it for an hour a day.
Yeah, but if you want to like listen to music, you got to have a phone. If you want to play a video game, you got to have a phone. If you want to chat with your friends, you got to have a phone.
You can't win. Just can't win. Crazy.
It's not like our days when your parents just put you in front of the telly and that was it. And all the stuff on telly was all politically correct, right? So if you like watch stuff like Star Trek or all these other sci-fi shows, it tells you don't be racist, don't be sexist. It's be good to one another.
That's true, man. The other thing I gave a go, Dragon's Dogma, also on Netflix. No, great.
Not great.
What's the trailer at your place? It's that anime. It's based on a Capcom game.
Oh, right. Yeah, yep.
Yeah, game which I never even heard of, but yeah, not great. Hit and miss like most of the Netflix animes are. On to The Boys, season finale. And actually, we have to speak about last week's as well, because actually, no, we got that when we did our little 10 minutes.
We did, yes, we did.
So
although truly, neither of us could really remember the episode when we were talking about it.
I know. But anyway, yeah, season finale, The Boys, season 2. Oh, it's over.
Wow.
Oh, but crazy reveal at the end.
It was just phenomenal from beginning to end, this episode.
Yeah.
And a lot of the shit in the last 20 minutes was just unbelievable. And then the magic of this, which I'll get to in a bit, is once the episode is over and you process all the information, there's some amazing stuff that suddenly surfaces, which I'll get to towards the end of our discussion.
I did watch that video while we were waiting.
Yeah, right.
Very clever. Very
clever, right? You didn't even think about any of that stuff, did you?
Not at all.
It's where do you want to start with this? Do you want to just get into the meat and potatoes? Do you want to? I mean, there was a lot of setup.
Well, we have to, because we missed it last week as well, we have to talk about Homelander's failed attempt to be a responsible father and start a new family.
You know what? So there were times at this where genuinely you felt like he was trying to be a good dad to the boy, right? He wasn't losing his temper. No. He was trying to. He opened up. He basically said, "When I was a child, I had these same problems."
And he had no one to help him. And he was trying to be vulnerable. And you actually kind of got a little glimpse of.
Yeah,
he just wants to be loved. He just wants someone to love. Like, oh, poor guy.
And then when he even says like, "And I cried," and the child goes, "You cried," and he was just. He didn't play it off. He was just like, yeah.
Yep. Didn't even lose his temper when the kid had his minor meltdown, panic attack around all the people.
Yeah, but you would kind of think he knew what that felt like because it's probably happened to him.
No, but I mean, he didn't freak out with the people around him. Like, he managed to keep it level and be respectful to everybody and just,
But what you notice is Stormfront really knows how to push his buttons.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like she proper knows.
The puppets. Playing. She was being patient herself, but then it all kind of once it all got out, once the leak slid out.
A-Train to the rescue.
A-Train. How the fuck can A-Train hear through doors?
This is what I really like about this show, because it's kind of like there's everyone's kind of bad, but kind of like also just out for themselves type of thing. So like A-Train. He's not a totally bad guy, but he is a bad guy. But sometimes he's capable of doing something good, even if it's for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. When he overhears the head of the church talking about the reasons why A-Train won't be back in. He was over listening. I actually thought A-Train was there because I saw like the gust of wind when they're serving the fresca, but couldn't see him in the room. But
I kind of wondered if they were going to pull some sort of switcheroo on us, because even when is it Edwin? Is it Edwin his name? The Hamanos Ponos boy guy. I can't remember his name now.
Always forget his name.
Essentially, when they're sitting there and talking to the church guy, they dance around the racism stuff. They never say racism. They always just say they have a problem. And I was thinking maybe they're setting up something else. Maybe it's not racism. Maybe they're gonna side smack us with something completely different.
No. But I like the fact they didn't play around with it. They got the information and they just leaked it straight away. They didn't just feed it for like this whole long extended time, sometime next season that maybe it'll get out. Nope, straight away, internet.
Well, obviously they used it as a diversionary tactic, right? But you're kind of wondering. Billy went to see Harmonos Monos guy before he knew that information. To said, I can get the boy away. So if he didn't have that information, what was going to be his plan?
Exactly. That made no sense.
Billy is full of shit. He had no plan.
And the fact that he still thought that he could just sell out the kid and just get rid of the kid and keep his wife to himself.
Yeah.
Just not thinking at all straight. Like the woman would just happily give up her kid just to be back with him.
Yeah. I guess he doesn't really understand that whole motherly or parent-child bond type thing.
Until he saw it through his own eyes and it was like, oh, I can't do this. And I was right. I called it. Stormfront ain't going to last. And she didn't last.
Jesus.
Technically, she may still be alive. I think she is still.
Well, I was going to say, because they say at the end, after she got her butt kicked and ran away and then was like burnt to a crisp, which I don't actually understand, because a couple of episodes earlier, Homelander was lasering her chest.
Yeah, but the kid's that strong, isn't he? He's that powerful. He just.
So she's just lying there all burnt, and you kind of think, but doesn't she have regenerative power? Because she never gets old.
Yeah, but we don't really know how that works.
No, we don't.
Stuff.
No.
So,
but
a torso. Basically, all she is now is just a torso with a head.
Because they do say they've got her in custody.
Yeah. So, can she regenerate? Will she heal and recover, or is she just that now? Just this torso that can fly around? I can't wait.
Or no legs and no arms.
Exactly.
Just reciting stuff in German.
And why was she talking German all of a sudden? Why was that knife in the eye so traumatic, or the burn that suddenly she can only talk?
What's so traumatic, dude? She was burnt to a crisp. Her legs were. I can't think of anything that could be more traumatic.
Yeah, but why would you suddenly start talking another language? I don't get it.
Well, English is another language to her. I would imagine German is probably a mother tongue, right?
True.
Yeah. The scene with right at the end with Homelander jerking off.
I could do what I want. Nobody can tell you what to do.
So apparently, they're not sure, but a scene similar to that was filmed for season 1, and Amazon asked for it to be removed. Oh. They go, it was one of the few things that they said we're not entirely sure about this. So they're not sure whether this is the same scene and they've now put it in at the end of season 2, or if they've shot it again.
I think the way that they cut it in, because it came right after, or a little bit after that press conference, and you see the camera zoom into his eyes, I think he's unraveling. Literally, I think next season he's going to be complete. Just nut job.
There is that moment where once all the cards are on the table and Stormfront just starts coming out with all of the racist stuff. Mm-hmm. You do have Homelander kind of looks at her like this, and he has a smile. You're not kind of sure. Is he thinking this is cool, or it's is she for real?
This is a good thing to tell my kid. I think there's that there is that tiny sliver of fatherly instinct he has, where he's is this a good thing to be telling my kid? I don't know. But he goes with it.
He goes with it. Yeah, it's some brilliant stuff there. But Billy's just a madman. He got a load of innocent people just killed.
Which bit?
Because he left his phone in the cabin, right? Which is what the FBI or whatever agency is.
Oh,
basically went there to get the kid.
Yeah.
And he knew he was fucking them over.
What is dumb is that those soldiers could have gotten out of it. They could have just said, we don't know where he is. We were just giving orders.
Do you think Homelander would listen to that? Homelander was going to kill those guys no matter what.
Not, but it didn't help that they were still aiming their guns like that was ever going to do anything to him.
It's no one seems to learn from that, right? Because whenever they've got a gun in their hand, they will try and shoot one of these guys. Because you saw it on Stormfront twice. They're guns don't do anything.
Why do you exactly? It's just why?
It happened. They did it to Stormfront twice in the matter of a few minutes, and you're just kind of
But you can stick a knife in her eye, though.
Oh, yeah. And you kind of think, why didn't instead of trying to shoot her, why didn't he try stab her other eye?
Yeah, that was sad. But the boy chose Billy over Homelander. But then Billy just passed him off to FBI, I think. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Billy's never going to bring up a kid, right? I mean, to be fair, you wouldn't want Billy bringing up a kid, right? Because he's a bit fucked.
But I thought it was gonna be fun to see this guy who hates soups have to raise
Yeah.
this little superhero.
It's
That would
yeah,
have been
but like
fun.
at the beginning of the episode, they had no choice. They were about to basically just start going around killing people.
Yeah, yeah, that's funny. And that whole thing that they built to take down Stormfront, because French, he couldn't keep his mouth mouth shut. He said that we got to go to the car and get this thing that she could hear, so she could blow it up. It's like, oh Jesus Christ.
And then she was. I did like the fact that she was beating the shit out of Kimiko. Then she beat up Starlight. Just doesn't seems to have the worst superpower of them all, right? And then also needs to recharge after doing that. She really got the short end of that straw. But she at least does seem to have super strength. But then the three of them team up when Maeve just comes out.
Maeve turn up with terrible punches, and it's like all of them just kicking the shit out of her.
And Frenchie goes like, Frenchie.
Girls really do get it done or something like that.
Yeah.
The tagline from their movie. Yeah, that was cool. That's so funny. But then we got to talk about the big reveal.
Woo! I did not see this coming. Did not see this. If you told me who do you think the head popper is, I would never have expected the lady from Timeless, Victoria Newman.
Did not at all see it coming. And I like it.
Now, I sent you something to watch.
Yep.
And when you kind of watch that, it's telegraphed all season long.
All comes together that she works for Voight.
Yep.
In their interest, but from the other side. She stokes paranoia in the people.
So I like the way where they think like when you're being political, you always have an opposition, right?
Yeah.
So why not just create the opposition that you can control?
That's it. That's what she does. She stokes the paranoia in the people that on its surface you'd think will go against them, but always feeds back and helps Voight do what they need to do. It's like genius.
And when we say you can see all the way through, right? So there are clues throughout the first season. So basically, when she is confronted by Homelander, she never looks away from him, right? Because her power only works if she's looking at someone.
So we think, yeah.
Yeah. In court, she wasn't shell-shocked. She was looking directly at the guy next to her when his head popped. And then you could see her head moving as people's heads were popping.
Yeah, we're referring to this screen crush video that kind of breaks down what they think her power is and that she has to maintain eye contact with the people that she pops.
Yeah, or not eye contact. She has to have visual of them, right? So when she goes into the church guy at the end.
Yeah, and it actually lines up. When you look at the footage of people getting popped, it does line up that she is looking at, in that courtroom, that she is looking at everyone that gets popped. So it's like, okay, that's how it works. And even the church guy, she's looking from the gate.
Yeah.
Got him.
That was so well done. And I didn't realize that they deviated so much from the source material because that she's a new character. She's not from the comics. In the comics, they had like
somebody
else.
Gender flipped it. Right. But so was Stormfront. Stormfront was a man in the books, and they flipped it to make it a woman. And they've kind of gone a slightly different route. Yeah. But it works. It completely works.
All the stuff that it all really. I actually thought that like Jensen Ackles would come in next season and he would have a showdown with Stormfront because obviously he's from the war.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah.
I thought she'd stick around at least that long, but maybe. Maybe we talked a little stub. Who knows? Can't wait though. Can't wait for Jensen Ackles to be in this mix with these characters. Can't wait.
Who knows when we're going to see it though, right?
Yeah, that's true. I haven't heard nothing about them shooting yet. It's a bummer. But if they're green lighting spin-off shows, they must have a plan to get back somehow to shooting all this stuff.
Well, I think it's just a waiting game, right? You can sign off on all of these things, but until people can actually film and stuff, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah. So A-Train's back in the 7, but
the deep is not. And the deep goes. I even signed over my bank account to you.
What the fuck?
And then it's like, I didn't even laugh when you told me about, and I can't remember what it was, about the magic spores or something.
Oh, yeah. Scientology, what we've suspected it was about Scientology, now we definitely know that's what it is.
Oh, yeah. So at the end, when he's talking to Victoria on the phone, he's basically saying, we'll hand over this info if you tax exempt us or something like that, right? He's trying to make a deal. Which is what the Church of Scientology doesn't have to pay tax.
Yeah. No church does. No big ones anyway. And what else? Oh, he even talks about I even married that woman that gets terrible blowjobs. Fucking hell. What is the team going to do next season? Like, where can he go? Because it just seems to go from bad to worse for him.
Oh, it absolutely does. I guess, do we need to talk about Billy for a moment? And now, obviously, he's lost the woman that he loves, killed by her son.
Indirectly, yeah.
Yeah.
Were you thinking that Billy might turn on the kid at one point?
I was kind of thinking like he could go either way, right? He could explode, or he could realize it was an accident and he was trying to save his mother.
Yeah.
But that's going to have like an impact on him. I mean, he's already a psychopath as it is. I mean, I can't imagine what it's going to do to him now.
And definitely isn't going to change his opinion on Soups either.
No.
Poor kid.
He is. I don't know if he's got a death wish, but he obviously shows that he's got balls the size of grapefruits, right? Because essentially he's got the face-off with Homelander, and he knows Homelander could kill him like that. Yet he stands his ground, like doesn't show any weakness, doesn't show the hint of like being afraid.
Yeah, he knows there's nothing he could do. And I guess he just kind of accepts his fate, and he's just willing to this, especially with his wife he dead now. He's just willing to this.
Yeah,
whatever.
and then Maeve plays her trump card.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's still threatening. Still only threatening though to show it. But I guess she keeps him under control then.
Yes. Well, the thing is, if she shows it, then she fucks herself over as well, right? And that's the nuclear option. That's
it. And there's nothing to hold him back at that point. And it seemed to work for now. But yeah, I definitely think he's gonna go Fruit Loops.
I think his name is Hector, the Voight CEO, right? I like the way that Billy asked him the question point blank that says like, like he basically says like, you are a black guy, are you okay with like that racist bitch? He essentially just kept calling her that, and he was just like, basically it's money at the end of the day.
Yeah. Do you think he could be related to that politician woman? Because Hector is I think he's like Colombian or Cuban in real life, so he has that Latin side of him.
I don't know if he's related, but I mean, the actress who plays Victoria Newman, I think her origin, she is Indian.
Oh, she's actually Indian in real life. So the character's supposed to be Latino, but...
Well, well, I think they've given her a very anglicized name, haven't they? Victoria Newman.
Newman, yeah, it could be anyway. God, the boys never ceases to friggin' shock. I love it. Yeah. Love it. Gonna miss it.
It's going to be a long, long wait till next season.
Yeah.
But we absolutely know there's no fucking way Amazon will cancel this.
No, not yet. It's their only big show they've got.
It is their biggest
one. The shit ton of shows they make, this is the only one that gets people talking.
Until Lord of the Rings arrives.
Yeah. Hopefully that's good.
No one knows when that's going to be. Right, should we whiz through these trailers then, or have you got any more have you been watching?
No, Trailer Parks, do it.
Right, so obviously a lot of these trailers for films you won't be seeing for years to come. Because everything has been delayed. But Free Guy, obviously they've had the Comic-Con over the weekend, New York Comic-Con, so lots of things have dropped because of that and because of this. It still looks really good. I like the stuff that they kind of dwell more into what's going on, and the fact that he starts having a relationship with a player of a game.
That's
really interesting. Yeah, so the actual film is more than I thought it was going to be.
Is this another one that just has no release date or a vague one that's probably going to get pushed?
I wouldn't actually go by any release date that's currently. I think it is actually listed to come out very soon.
But it's one that they still want to do cinema. They don't want to do it on digital.
Oh yeah, but it'll move. So 11th December is what it's still listed at, but that'll go. I mean, like with Cineworld having closed their doors,
I know
that's ain't gonna happen. A teaser for Monster Hunter, obviously surfaced this week with what's her name, Mila Jovovich.
What's the
based on a video game.
Oh, and Tony Jaa's in this as well. What's the company that do the game? It's a Capcom game, isn't it?
Yeah.
It looks nothing like the game. It looks nothing like the game.
Well, I don't think that's a bad thing, right? Because I think sometimes you have to take liberties with a game to try and bring it to screen.
But then it no longer becomes the game that you're doing it, so it's a pointless adaptation.
I actually don't know what, other than like you go around hunting monsters, because Monster Hunter, I've never played one of those, and I've no idea what they're actually about.
Yeah, you just hunt monsters, you collect, and you take bits of them to make new armor and new weapons. It's like you just kind of create your character, and it's just a fun game. And this looks nothing like that.
It's only a 17-second teaser so far. The 355 I thought looked like a serious version of Charlie's Angels.
It did. Not just that, but what was the Ocean's something that they rebooted?
Was that Ocean's 8?
I think that was, yeah,
Yeah.
with Anne Hathaway. This looks like a way better version of that.
It actually doesn't look bad. Although it's from the trailer, and I don't know if it was just because I was watching on an iPad, it has that real digital bloody look to it. So I don't know if it's like a real cheap production or it's just the way they've graded it.
Could be. But yeah, I'm actually really surprised and impressed how Lupita Nyong'o seems to have gotten that English accent down. Like, that's not the amount of African and Indian people who I know who have been in this country for 20, 30 years and they still are barely eligible when they talk. For her to just completely have these things, I was like, very good.
It's that's what an actor does, right? How many times have you like never heard an actor's real voice and thought they were an American, and then when you hear their real voice, you're like, bloody hell.
Schwarzenegger can't fucking do it. Van Damme can't fucking do it.
They don't need to, right? They're action stars. It's these sort of films. You'll get a dialogue coach come on set and work with you.
But I've seen, like, even when Americans try to do English ones, like in a historical film, they just give up. Like, what's the Robin Hood?
Kevin Costner.
Yeah, like he just gave up. He couldn't. He just couldn't do it. He just gave up.
Yeah, but it's like It's like Marina Sirtis. For like years, I actually thought she was an American, and when you hear her English accent now, she sounds like a common Essex girl.
Marina Sirtis.
What's it? The one who plays Deanna Troi in Next Gen.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. But yeah, looks fun. Looks good.
Yeah. One that's come out of nowhere, and I'm kind of surprised that people are still putting Mel Gibson in movies, but Fat Man.
I know, and I want to know what the actress, because that's a legit actress who plays his wife. They got a black woman to play his wife. You know that's on purpose, just to try and be like, come on, he ain't a bad guy. But the concept of this is funny.
It is, but the actual film doesn't look like they want it to be a comedy. So there might be some like dark black humor in there.
Yeah, it started out looking gritty, but once he showed the kid who got lump of coal and was so upset that he cursed Santa and hired a hitman to go after Santa. What's his face? God, the guy from Vice Principals.
Oh, yes. As soon as I saw his face, I was like, it's him.
To go and hunt down and kill Santa, who's played by Mel Gibson. And he's a Santa who's just fed up. He's living in the cabin. You know, kids aren't the same. He got one time he was out and they shot one of the reindeer and shot him. It's like, this is
It does. This could be like the best movie ever or the worst movie ever, right?
Yeah. I think this is definitely going to be a digital release one, though, especially for Christmas time.
Yeah, it's I guess you are really limited to actually when you can release it, right? There's no point in putting this out in like June or July of next year.
But it's called Fat Man. He ain't even fat. Yeah. He's got the beard, but he ain't got the Santa fat.
Well, I guess that gets people talking rather than if they just called it Santa Claus.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's like Fat Man. What's Fat Man? Are they taking the piss out of a fat guy? Oh, look, it's Mel Gibson.
Yeah. Next one. Netflix.
So this sounds really interesting, right? Mank. Have you seen the trailer for this? Yeah. Looks amazing, right? I didn't know anything about it.
While I was watching, I was thinking, it's kind of like a Citizen Kane look about it. And then I actually read the synopsis, like, it's about the guy who wrote Citizen Kane.
And that's it, right? Because you're watching it, you're like, they've really made this look as though it was made in the 1930s. It's not just set in the 1930s. They use all of the techniques, the filmmaking techniques that they had back then.
Well, specifically, Citizen Kane invented a whole bunch of... That's why it's such an iconic film, is that it did things that no other movie up to that point had ever done. It kind of defied the rules of filmmaking and how to shoot something and all of that. It looks like they're trying to repurpose all that for this, and I'm into it. It looked really nice. Really
this is it's a David Fincher movie, and it's essentially the story of them trying to write or make Citizen Kane, right? Citizen Kane, yeah. Which I think, and from what I understand, even like the making of Citizen Kane is really interesting because they at the time they tried to get the movie like banned. They tried to like take away the stock and have it burnt and locked away, that kind of stuff.
Why is that always the case with these big iconic films? There's always problems.
It's the ones that are too progressive.
Yeah,
Too
true.
liberal hippies.
Yeah.
Right. So, you and I have probably both seen the original Stephen King The Stand, right? I remember watching it at some point in the 90s on TV.
I don't think I have.
Oh, you haven't?
I
That was
don't
a
think so.
it
Maybe
was
if
a
I saw something,
great.
it will knock a memory, but off the top of my head, I don't think I have seen it.
I'm pretty sure that was like an event type thing. You know, like how we used to have like on the BBC or ITV, like
Yeah.
2 nights, a mini series, Stephen King. It was like one of those types of things. I really enjoyed that original. And this kind of looks like could potentially be a decent modern remake.
Yeah. Looked like it could be cool. Just looking up
Yeah.
the one from the.
Oh, so the synopsis is basically something has happened on Earth. I can't remember if it's like a disease that's wiped out a lot of people.
Mm.
Hold on,
I'm,
what's
I'm
happening
looking.
now in the world?
I'm looking at posters and they're like images from the original one from the 90s. It look familiar, but still
You
can't
you
place it.
probably have seen it.
Can't place my
I
finger on
don't
it.
know how often it's been shown on TV, but I'd be surprised if you haven't seen it. You probably just don't remember it.
Mm. But yeah, this looks interesting. Not really a whole lot to say about it, to be honest, but I'll give it a go.
I think it's kind of dropping in December. So at least we know there's still stuff towards the end of the year to look forward to. But the next trailer, I think potentially it's going to be the battle, right, between this and The Boys for best show of the year. Expanse season 5.
Hey man, I was not expecting there to be a trailer for season 5 already.
No,
But boom, here we are.
but have you seen what they're doing to the scheduling of this show?
Is it a week to week?
They're doing exactly what they did with The Boys. They're dropping the first 3
Mm.
and then going week to week.
I get it. Because, they must be hurting to a degree when it comes to maybe not immediately, but down the road with the content.
Oh yeah.
So they need to spread stuff out as much as they can to fill that, to keep people coming to their platform. So I
do think there is a bit of that now because obviously we're seeing things are getting worse in some places. So filming stuff is probably going to become very challenging.
It kind of seems like they've kind of gone back to, with this season, more of season 1 and 2. It's like, it seems to be more about the political conflict rather than exploration.
That's where this show worked the best, I think, because I felt as much as I enjoyed last season, I didn't think it was as good as what had come before.
Yeah.
Because I think this show does like political stuff very, very well.
Yeah. So looking forward to that. Best sci-fi game right now.
Yeah. Come Away. I just added this not because I thought it was a good trailer, but I just thought, right, so they've basically got Alice in Wonderland. And
that one, yeah,
it's
problematic in that they could have done this. It's always a hot button thing when they change the ethnicity of iconic characters, and it can be fine as long as you do it right in the right sort of context. I don't think they did it right in this. I think they tried to do it in a way that, okay, we've changed the race of these iconic characters of Peter Pan and Alice, but we're not going to refer to it in any way. It's just, that's the world. And you can't accept it because knowing history, especially knowing growing up in this country, you know what it was like for people of color, especially in the 1800s. So I can't just suddenly to accept a world where there's this rich black guy in a mansion with these rich kids. And it's like with Angelina Jolie as his white wife, like that would not have, I'm sure there were some rich, there were.
So you're one of those now. So basically, if you see Alice in Wonderland, it has to be white.
No, I need a believable explanation why. It can't just be because I know too much of the world's history that it.
Can we not get over seeing his color? Can we not just see that's Alice in Wonderland? I don't care whether it's white, black, male, female. Alistair in Wonderland.
If it's based in the Victorian era, there has to be an explanation as to why it's being told from that perspective. Just presenting it that way.
Saying,
I can't get lost in it. I know what human nature is like, and I know what the world was like at that time. It couldn't happen.
I gotta say, all that stuff doesn't really bother me. I just thought the trailer looked rubbish.
That too. It did.
It didn't look. So whether Alice is black or not, I couldn't really care less, right? If she's a good actress, she's a good actress. Just the trailer itself just did not interest me whatsoever.
Yeah.
And let's not dwell on that. Into the Labyrinth. This
looked interesting.
This looked like, I thought, I watched that and I was like, I bet Eddie would love this.
Yeah, it's kind of got I'm forgetting the name of the horror movie. Oh, the one with Pinhead.
Hellraiser.
Yeah, it's got that sort of concept to it. It's weird. Was it like Italian in English?
Yeah. So it is the original language apparently is listed as being Italian.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't generally like these types of films, but I thought this looked really interesting because I like the idea of this woman having just disappeared one day,
Yeah.
and when she resurfaces years later, she's obsessed with trying to finish the labyrinth.
Yeah, the psychological thriller.
Yeah, it does
It's not,
seem like
yes, it's not horror necessarily. Or it doesn't look like it. It looks like
Yeah.
a more of a psychological F up. And Dustin Hoffman, am I right?
Yep.
Coming out.
Yep.
I haven't seen him for years. Not since he did that TV show about horse racing, where horses kept dying and they just cancelled the show before the season one was done.
That wasn't that long ago, was it? That was about what 3-4 years ago.
That's a lot longer than that. It's a longer than you think it is. But yeah. A while ago.
Almost everybody else has got like Italian names in there, so I have no idea who these people are. But yeah, looks interesting. Arch Enemy looks really interesting. Really?
Rubbish.
Really?
I saw a film that this director made with Nicolas Cage. Mandy.
Right. Oh
no,
yeah.
Was it Mandy? Was that his
Yeah,
one?
I think yeah. I think Mandy is listed as like on the thing, like from the director of.
But was that the one with Nicolas Cage, or is that there was one called
I haven't actually seen it.
What's on the when you click on it? What does it say?
I'm just looking the guy up now. Hold on. Where is the director? Adam Egypt Mortimer.
Yeah. But click on Mandy though. That's one.
Click on Mandy.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's the film I think it is. If it's a Nicolas Cage one, or it might not be.
But you love Nicolas Cage. Mandy 2018 or 2019? Oh, it's 2018. TV series is 2019. So that is Panos Cosmatos.
Okay, so it's not the one I'm thinking.
But that is with Nicolas Cage.
Oh, it is. So that's
the
mad psychological psychedelic movie. If it's the one I'm thinking of, yeah, I saw that and did kind of have fun with that. But this looks terrible, man.
Really?
It looks
so
terrible.
It's like about a guy who thinks he's come from another planet and he sells these tales of him being like a superhero.
It looks cheap as fuck. It looks garbage.
So I think you need to get over like something looking cheap because things are going to look cheap, right? We're going to discuss this in the news at some point. I think we're the days of really expensive movies have now gone, at least for the foreseeable future. Films are going to look cheap.
Labyrinth is a small budget, but that looks like it's done well. It looks like it's well shot, well acted. This looks crap.
I did not think it looked crap. I thought it looked interesting. It probably will be crap, but I thought I'd give it the benefit of the doubt. I thought, oh, interesting concept.
And like I said, I've seen the filmmaker's one of these other works, and he has a particular weird style that's weird and cheap. And no, I can't do that.
And lastly, Vampires versus the Bronx.
I don't know. This could either be hilarious or just like why.
It kind of reminds me about a little bit of Attack on the Block.
Yes,
and it's already out actually on Netflix, so I might try and give that a spin.
See, man, Netflix and not slowing down. They just don't care.
At all. They've just
don't care.
Yeah. Well, we say they don't care, but they've done something really bad that we've got to discuss in the news this week. Okay. So should we just get into this and try and race through some of this now?
Yeah.
Right. Miramax TV is developing a TV show based on the Guy Ritchie The Gentleman movie.
Yeah, this is a holdover from last week's news. Again, still not seen The Gentleman, and actually, it's a good thing we actually hold it back on this because apparently Guy Ritchie is coming back.
Oh yeah, we said that.
He's
writing and directing. We did say that last week.
One of the lead actors is also
lost.
coming back.
Oh, is she?
No, he.
Oh, he.
What's his face?
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
Oh, is he coming back?
Yeah.
He's coming to TV. So he's really good in it.
He's not going to do a TV show, but apparently he is.
Is Hugh Grant coming back?
Haven't heard that.
Oh, you've got to watch this, Eddie. You will absolutely love this film. I'll tell you now.
Sure I will. I always like his gangster movies, so I'm sure I'll get into it. It's right there on Prime now, so
it is really good.
Francis and the Godfather.
Yeah, so this is really interesting, right? So they are now making a film about the making of The Godfather, and apparently it was quite I don't know what's the right word. I don't want to say torturous, but it was a very difficult movie making process.
How difficult though? I haven't heard. I would love to look up stories and maybe it's not. Maybe it's good that I'd be surprised at the various things that had happened
Yeah.
during the process of this. But I've never heard Godfather being a big issue to make.
Well, you got to imagine that's a movie that got made like 5 or 6 years before you were even born.
True.
So you probably never really followed the making of that movie. I mean, how many times have you seen The Godfather?
But a few times.
And have you really ever gone to like watch any of the extras or read anything about the movie?
I've never gone that deep.
Yeah,
into
there
it.
you go. Yeah.
But I know that Apocalypse Now was hell on earth. So why that hasn't been done into a dramatized version, I have no idea.
I'm sure there is a movie about Apocalypse Now because I think we were talking about this last week. I'll look it up. I'll look it up and send it to you.
Okay.
And they've got some big names attached to this, right? Oscar Isaac and Jake Gyllenhaal.
Okay, that could be cool. Are either of them Italian? No, I don't know. I don't think so.
Gyllenhaal? Well, I guess not. But just talking of The Godfather, they're also in December. They're re-releasing Godfather 3, but a new cut. Like Francis Ford Coppola's basically gone back and like re-edited it and added new scenes. So this is the version that I really wanted to do.
Yeah, well, I heard about that. Because the first two were so highly regarded and masterpieces of their genre. 3 was always unfairly criticized, but it was never a bad film. It just couldn't reach the heights of the first two. But it was still if that was released on its own as it's with no connections to any other films, it would still be considered a solid, good movie.
Decent film.
The first two were so good that constantly gets shit on. So interested to watch that new version.
Yeah. I think the biggest obviously news this week. I'm not sure if you heard. I know it's a real shame that we haven't got Salim here because he would love this. Kate Mulgrew, Captain Catherine Janeway, is reprising her role on Star Trek. She is going to be the captain in Star Trek Prodigy.
Oh, this is a new show.
This is a new animated show. So this is the kids show that they put on Nickelodeon. Yeah.
It's a Nickelodeon show. Are you excited for a Nickelodeon Star Trek show?
I am now that they've got they're bringing in a legacy. Well, you say that. If you look at things like say Star Wars Rebels, that's a kids show, but it's actually a pretty decent show as well.
If you're going to talk about an animated Star Wars show, Mo,
Clone
Wars is the one you go to, not any of these other
Rebels,
lately.
No, Rebels
Clone
is pretty
Wars
good,
was
man.
the masterpiece. Well, not masterpiece, but it was the highest point.
Yeah. So there you go. So it is quite possible to do a kids show that could be interesting to adults.
That's true because like Avatar, Airbender is a great show. That's a Nickelodeon show, so I'm not going to shit on kids shows. They're great.
Yeah. So, and the fact that she goes, I can do this without leaving home. She goes, it was the ideal job for her because obviously at the moment, because of the pandemic and stuff, they've already recorded I think 3 episodes. They're into episode 4 and 5 now.
I was looking up voice acting the other day. Literally, if you're willing to invest in a good quality microphone, everything, you literally can do it all. Like any commercial that you see that's being released during the pandemic, they're releasing it in their fucking underwear, recording that in their bedroom.
Because if you think about it, all you need is the director on Zoom. You've got your kit here. They send you the stuff. Yeah. You have a good mic, a good laptop, a good mixer, sound card. You can do it all, right?
That's it.
Yeah. That's how they were talking. That's how they did all the musical scoring for Discovery. You had to do each person individually at home. They had to then send the recordings in, and they had to then mix it together.
Painstaking.
Yeah. But it just kind of goes to show you how much you can actually still do over the internet. And which goes to say, if this had been 20 years ago, we would have all been fucked.
There'd be nothing to watch.
Right.
Reruns of fucking Cheers and shit. Anyway.
Yeah.
Mini news.
And talking about nothing to watch, No Time to Die, delayed. Dune, delayed.
Boom.
Batman, delayed.
Boom.
Black Adam, fucking completely removed from the release schedule.
Boom. It's just one after the other.
Yeah. And Dune
and connected. Well, connected to all of this, because of No Time to Die being pulled from its release date, that's kind of fed into the problems that's led to Cineworld just collapsing.
Closing their doors until further notice.
Yeah. Because
I mean, I can completely understand, right? They've got business to run, they've got rents to pay, they've got things to keep open, people to pay, and if people aren't going to the cinema,
they're making most of their money from concessions. Why aren't they just like advertising £2 movie tickets to get people in there?
Well, they are. At my so when I went to watch Tenet, so the view that I go to, obviously, like it's a very expensive cinema, right? So normally tickets are about £16-17. For Tenet, they were like £6.99.
Damn, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and that was like for every showing. It wasn't like if you come at a certain time. It's like every single showing.
Problem is, who knew that though? Well, I never saw it.
Oh no, I didn't know that. It was only when I went to book it, and then
Yeah.
I had a look. Like every film they were showing was £6.99.
That's their fuck up. They should have added it into the trailers that were being shown on TV, or advertising it independently their own way. That go see this price.
I think the problem is different cinemas. Like if you went up north, like £6.99, I think is like a normal price to pay to go to a cinema.
Yeah, but most commercials are regional anyway, so a lot, not most, but a lot.
But who watches adverts now?
Oh, online, dude, digital, social media, like we were talking about. Adverts are targeted.
I was going to say, like, even having my YouTube Premium, I don't see a single ad now on YouTube. I haven't done for a long time.
How much is that a month? Because I'm getting really pissed off.
So it's because I subscribe to Google Music or like YouTube Music now. If you pay £2 on top of that, so it's £9.99 to subscribe to music. £2 more gets you the YouTube Premium bit, so you don't so you don't have to see ads, and you get all the nice stuff like offline playback, download of videos, and when you also get background play as well.
Okay, £11. Is it on its own? Can you buy it?
Well, actually, I don't know, because before there used to be like a separate YouTube Red subscription, which I assume is now gone.
Yeah, I don't need YouTube Music. I've got Apple. I don't need that. Anyway, so nothing in the near future. And when they do come back, are there going to be any cinemas left for them to be shown in?
So not only will there not be any cinemas, right? I've got a real feeling now that seeing really expensive movies like Endgame and stuff, right, might actually be something that the studios aren't willing to invest in for the foreseeable future, because they've got all of these films that they still need to put out, but like the economy is going to be decimated, right? It's people are going to be trying to put food on the table and like pay their rent, and probably won't have luxuries like going to the cinema.
Well, I think it's going to be... I think there'll still be blockbusters, but I think it will only be superhero blockbusters. And they'll try and cap their budget at about 100 mil.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that for the foreseeable future, those huge, ridiculous budgets are gone.
Because Tenet, it managed to make, I think so far it's made like 800 million. So if they were smart in the way that they advertise, and they don't have, they don't really need to do the physical stuff like billboards and things like that. It's just all online.
Because no one's going out there to see
Exactly. So if it's all targeted online advertising,
well,
150 million, they could actually make a good bit of money for that.
I wonder if we'll start to see more VOD releases, and they'll start to say, actually, if a movie cost X amount, we can do a VOD release. It's like, I think those films that cost like 200 million, you're never going to make your money back, right? But if we can make movies for 50, 75 mil, we can make a profit.
That would be,
and people don't need to go to a cinema.
Yeah, that would be the thing.
What if the cinema now becomes one of those sort of things? It's the premium thing now.
That's exactly what I was talking about with us, man. I think only the boutique ones are going to be the ones that survive.
It's like, have you ever been to see a musical?
No.
Like a stage, like, you've never been to see a stage musical?
No.
You've never been?
I'm a man.
Oh, come on, man. That's got nothing to do with being a grown man. You've just got...
When I was a little kid, I do have vague memories of going to the Polka Dot Theatre to watch Pinocchio. When I was a little kid. That's closest I've come to musical.
So the reason I bring that up is, like, you go to see like a West End show, right? £35 is a minimum for like seats that are like so far up that people look like ants. So people easily pay like 70, 80, 90, £100 per ticket for those things.
I've heard no one even mention the theatres. How are they coping with all of this?
Oh, they are dead. So I'm a huge fan of like Hybrid, the band, and I follow their Twitter account. So Charlotte, who's the leader of that, she's been tweeting non-stop over the last week or so, because essentially the government have just said to them, entertainers aren't essential, go and retrain and do something else.
Isn't the art
which is
something that needs to get invested in? I guess they're just.
Which is, no, it's a slap in the face because if you think about it, right, without our writers, our musicians, our comedians, our direct, we would have had nothing during this pandemic, right? It's that entertainment is what has kept most of us sane.
Yeah, that is crazy then, because theaters, especially West End, that's just those buildings are going to be converted into more fucking shops, more Apple stores.
It's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And the Prime Minister is going to be addressing the nation tomorrow. So the Sun's already got speculation out on what's going to happen. So you can see, I went to have a haircut yesterday thinking they do another lockdown. I need to get my haircut.
I can't imagine it. Like, I think so many people are going to defy it this time around.
Oh yeah, no. Have you seen like all the mayors up north basically said no, we're not doing this. So it looks like there is going to be a showdown. Yeah,
because people are still getting sick and it's going up again, but the deaths are pretty low. So it's at a point now where is it closer to the flu? Like, I'm not one of those guys who thinks, corona's just the flu, blah blah, why you was it? But at this point, if the people who are most susceptible for it have already got it and passed or recovered.
So this year so far, they've already had 3 times the annual death of the flu and pneumonia put together. So it has killed a lot of people. But you got to think, right? You're saying this now when we're in restriction mode. When everything opens up again, that death rate is just going to skyrocket. That's what people go, but the death rate is low. It's because people aren't fucking going out.
People are out though. I go out to the shops a lot, and the streets are full.
No, people are going out, but there is still like people aren't traveling into work. People aren't going to the cinemas. There's restrictions on things you can do outside now. We're still not back to like
not normal,
I mean, you go to like the shopping center. I went past Smith's yesterday. There's a queue to get in there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But the knock-on effect that this is having even on Netflix, right? So Glow, a show that you and I really like, they even filmed one episode for the new series.
I remember the actresses talking about how they were filming, they were getting ready to do the rest of this season, and then it got shut down, and they're looking forward to getting back to it. And now Netflix is just... So those episodes have been written, the work was put in, and they've just pulled the plug.
So one of the theories that I've seen is because this is a show that requires a lot of close and physical contact, because you're essentially like wrestling with each other, right?
Ow.
It seems like such a business. Why not just put it on hiatus? Say when we can get back to it, we will get back to it. It's such a shame because it was such a good show.
Netflix is too fucking ruthless with their shit. Like I kept saying, they're turned into Fox sometimes. They don't give. That's why I worry about new shows for Netflix. Like, you get into something, you like it, but is it gonna get to tell its full story before it gets cut? A lot of the time, I don't trust that it will.
I do. Well, I mean, it was, let's put it this way, it was renewed for a final season. And it's this whole global thing. I mean, if this hadn't happened, we would have got a final season.
But they're definitely making stuff, because like I said, they're constantly putting shows out, so they must have a shit ton in the bank.
But they said that earlier in the year. Like, they go, basically anything that they're showing for 2020 was all shot last year.
The last season, though, man. Why would you cancel something with the last season to go? That's just such a...
But here's one that'll excite you. Conan, the TV series, is in production at Netflix.
That's why Galore got cancelled, because of fucking Conan. Because you know that this is going to be a period drama. They're going to try go for the Witcher type scale. That's the thing. We know that Netflix is shooting shit. They're shooting The Witcher. They're shooting the spin-off for Witcher. They're shooting Conan.
Well, I think they've obviously seen that there's been like this whole people love the sword and sorcery stuff.
Yeah.
And it seems to be doing really good ratings. And obviously Game of Thrones was like the biggest show in the world. They're doing some spin-offs. So Netflix wants their own ones.
I'm not mad. I do like the idea of there being a new Conan, as long as they get it right. And I want it to be mandatory that they hand out steroids to the cast. Like, people have to be Schwarzenegger sized. If they're not, I don't want to see some regular skinny dude running around with a sword. I don't give a shit about that. Just jack him up and I'll be into it.
Jack him up.
Yeah. And I want nudity, I want violence. The whole thing has to be. That's what Conan is about. It's brutal. It's grown up. Yeah. So that could be fun, but the fact that for that to get made, Glow got shut down just bums me out, man.
Well, I mean, they don't know definitely that that's what happened.
We know it. Come on, we know it. Definitely. Mulan.
Right, yeah, I just added this because so Mulan was an exclusive to Disney Plus, where you could rent it for an obscene amount of money. Right, so now what's happened? They hadn't explained this before, but it was also going to then. It's now available on things like Amazon, Google Play, iTunes. Those are all those other places that you can buy films from. Right, it's still $19.99, and you get like a whole bunch of extras that you don't get on Disney Plus. And just to rub salt in the wound, if you now start looking at this, if you pay $19.99 to say Amazon, you get to buy Mulan basically. On Disney Plus, if you paid that $19.99, you still have to subscribe to the service in order to keep that video.
Yeah, it's just early access. That's what it was.
It's that's not going down very well with a lot of people now.
They didn't think that one through, did they?
Not at all.
No, that's dumb. But they want their money. They want to get their money back. But apparently, hasn't done too badly. But probably not enough to really get their full money's worth. But anyone that really wanted to see it has seen it by now. So I can't imagine much people.
Well, I think it's not about wanting to see it. I think it's more around obviously Disney has miscalculated how many they could sell, keeping it just to themselves. And obviously now people are saying, well, hold on a minute, I have to pay $6.99 a month to keep access to this video. I think people are just cheesed off. Yeah. Right. Superhero news.
Do it.
Doctor Strange will be in Spider-Man 3.
That's right. Confirming the Spider-Verse rumors are an offshoot of what happened, starting with WandaVision, but expanding on in the new Doctor Strange movie, the multiverse, where they introduce all the different worlds and different versions. And now we've already heard casting rumors from Spider-Man that one, Jamie Foxx is coming back as Electro, so that means the Andrew Garfield universe is going to cross into this. And they've been heard rumors of Kristen Dunst has been approached by Sony.
Oh, really?
So that would bring over the Raimi Spider-Man into this, and another actor who I'm forgetting. No, the guy, Dahan, who played Green Goblin in the Garfield versions. So yeah, they're just bringing all these different people from different Spideys into the one.
Are they? Is this a whole is this a thing to DC saying "hold my beer" while we show you how to do the multiverse?
It kind of looks like it, man. So yeah, introduced. We're going to see a big amount of it in Doctor Strange, and Spider-Man's going to have its own take on it. So it could be fun. But Sony, you're in the driving seat with this most probably. So I'm a little worried.
I don't know. The other two Spider-Man films haven't been bad.
No, I enjoyed them, but they were guided by Marvel. But once it gets bigger than that, like at this point, I think Sony are really kind of getting confident, feeling like it's their success. I don't know. I'm always worried. I'm always worried that Sony's confident.
Well, hold on. Are you trying to say that Marvel aren't going to be part of this? Because it is Spider-Man 3.
They are. Yeah.
I'll say it's in safe hands.
Okay.
It's in safe hands.
So that'll be cool.
Yeah, and finally, we've got not finally, so we've got HBO Max gives serious order to Green Lantern.
I don't care.
Don't care?
Because I don't trust them.
Who don't you trust?
This HBO Max. It's not HBO proper. It's like this bastardized side quest version of HBO Max.
HBO is in there. Basically, it's Warner Brothers streaming service.
Did you see that other crappy DC show they made with a girl, which I can't even remember the name of now?
The girl. You're going to have to be a little bit more specific than that.
There's
a girl in most shows.
It came out a few months ago. See, we've forgotten it already. You've forgotten it.
Oh, no, wait. Did the girl have like a set of eyes, a nose, and a mouth?
That's it. That's the one. Blonde hair, blue uniform.
What was the show?
Can't even remember the name of it. Yeah, she's just a girl who got superpowers.
What happened?
It's a DC show.
Oh no, you're talking. That's still a WB, not a WB. That's still a CW show though.
It's been brought across to the universe, but it wasn't originally.
Stargirl,
yeah, it was a HBO Max show to start with.
It's got season 2's coming out,
and it's moved to CW now. fucking
No,
shit.
but no, it's always been on CW, hasn't it? I think
No.
the first episode was an HBO Max.
Started
but
out on HBO Max and they moved it across.
But it's been there.
I don't trust HBO Max. I don't trust it.
So are you the Marvel guy on Marvel versus DC?
Maybe.
Oh right, so you're anti DC now.
I'm not anti DC at all. If it was good, but I just don't see how it will be unless they're willing to put a shitload into it.
Well, if you think about it, the stuff that's been brought over, right, is you've got things like Teen Titans. You've got what's the other one? Doom Patrol. It should be all of that kind of quality, right?
Doom is not. Nah.
No.
It was. Then it kind of just gradually.
I thought you really enjoyed it.
Half of the first season was fun, but it just gradually and I haven't watched this most recent one. Titans was good. Last episode was terrible, but overall it's pretty good. But even that level for Green Lantern, it's an intergalactic thing. It's not an earthbound story. So it has to be basically like a superhero version of Star Trek or Raised by Wolves. It has to be that level. And I don't know whether they can do that.
Right. Cool. Right. How do we do? Did we make it in the time that you wanted to allot?
Pretty much. What's this Borderland Alice thing that you put there?
Well, I know you put it there because it's not a superhero news thing. It should have been something that was in.
Isn't it based on a manga though? Technically,
it's based on a manga. Yes.
Yeah. So
essentially, what it is it's another Netflix. Well, I don't know if it is a Netflix thing. I think they might have bought the license because it's coming like in December. So it's essentially a live action. An original series for Netflix. The original series is based on characters created, and I don't know where's the actual synopsis. It's one of those, like how in anime it's become so popular where you're in the real world and then suddenly something happens and then characters get transported to another land or they wake up in a game type thing. It's kind of one of those. It's basically they end up in like an alternate Tokyo. Where I think it's like, I don't know if it's not quite like a Hunger Games kind of thing, but it's basically, it combines the drama of human survival with suspense of a psychological gamesmanship. So it almost is actually like the Hunger Games type thing.
Have you watched any of these other, because there's a whole bunch of like these Japanese shows on Netflix that are based on anime?
Well, not anime, but I did watch there was that $1 million one, which is quite weird and I don't think I finished. But they've got quite a few Japanese shows, so like when we run out of English content to watch, there'll be a lot of like Korean and Japanese stuff.
There's one Korean one, so I've been meaning to watch for a while. I think it's still on Netflix, called Psychokinesis. It's by the guy that did Train to Busan, the first Train to Busan, the good one. Yep. It was his follow-up film about a dad who just develops these psychokinesis powers, and that's how he deals with that. So I've got to watch that. Need to go watch it.
But is that live action?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to remember, not most of these aren't like big budget productions.
They actually look pretty good though. That's a Korean one, but a lot of the Japanese ones do look real. Yeah.
I know you have a problem watching cheap looking stuff. You and Sardem, elitists.
I am.
And to me, it doesn't bother me at all.
Feed my eyeballs candy. I need it.
No, because some people just don't have the money, right? But they have the ideas and they have the creativity.
Good enough. So that's pretty much it, Mo. How can I get
folks,
they want to do so?
If you want to email us, we are at tatmpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to tweet at us, we are Talking Movies 3. And if you want to follow us on Instagram, we are Talking at the Movies.
Indeed, guys. You want to check out more of our stuff? If you're only listening to the audio of this, go check out YouTube, Voltron Network 2 words. You can see the video. And also just go to any podcasting platforms. Give us 5 stars, a like, whatever the fuck. Amazon podcast as well now. We're available on. So show us love. Tell your friends. Help us spread the cult of Talking at the Movies. So from me, Reese.
Me, Mo.
See you guys next week. Later.